LNG just fell off. I thought they were gone at the start of this year. Well, they're back. They're fully back. They look absolutely amazing right now in the most recent series. And Top Esports just lost to BLG, so maybe weakened, maybe a chance for LNG to upset the apple cart. They're 2-0 right now in the standings. We'll see if they can keep that rolling. We're straight into game one.
Wow. Straight up, what I'm noticing right here, the Rise. This is the second time I feel like we have Rise in summer. The first one was Sanji, if I'm not wrong, from NIP, picking it into a Rumble. And this time around, it's going to be picked into a Kennen ranged versus ranged matchup. Can clear up the wave pretty quickly as well. So should be able to stay in a pretty safe distance away from 369. However, looking at the composition, it's like AL's composition for the game that we just watched, minus the top lane, which instead of Kennen is a Rise.
It certainly is. And the first Rise top of this split did not look good. Okay, Meiko and JackeyLove starting strong with a dive practically onto Hug at level 1. He's going to have to go back to base. Gala will probably have to just forfeit maybe the entire first wave. That is a brutal first start from Top Esports bot lane.
And that's exactly what we're expecting. We have been talking over and over again about JackeyLove and Meiko and how they're probably the best ball lane in the LPL, the cleanse right there. They haven't even touched the wave, Munch!
That's a stun, but a flash forward from Hung. As JackeyLove chunked low. That might be enough with WeiWei now being pulled to the bottom lane. The jungler already has to try and move bot lane. By the way, it's Sejuani versus Xin Zhao in this bottom lane. WeiWei moves in. JackeyLove's still level 1, so won't have his arcane shift available. He's going to flash forwards, of course he is. It's JackeyLove, but he goes down to Gala.
I feel like we haven't seen a JackeyLove move in a little while. That was definitely... It's 2.5 minutes in and no one has touched the wave. Everyone is still level 1 apart from Meiko, and that's because he stayed around long enough for minions to naturally die on the lane. Absolute insanity right here. JackeyLove and Meiko trying to pressure for lane dominance. Comes back to bite them. And LNG will come out with the first kill. 1,000 gold up already.
Huge advantage to start the bot lane. Gala even goes for a cull as well. He's on a misfortune. You'd expect he'd want more just straight up damage to dominate the lane, but I suppose just happy with the matchup as it is and goes for a cull instead. So
nice here we go again. Round 2.
Hung just takes another massive chunk of damage. Won't lead to a kill here. That aftershock just about saving Hung's life, I think, is now a flash forward from 369 at the top side. Tian set up. Wind becomes lightning, and a spear becomes a kill at the top side.
Oh, great pathing from Tian as well. Completely ignores the top side of his map, going straight for that overextension onto Zika. Into a gank. Now Zika is back, and he's pulled up WeiWei with him. No flash on the Sejuani, remember. There's also no flash on 369, but it's going to push the wave. Tian is going to escort 369 back to base as he resets.
So WeiWei had also forgotten his buff and one camp on that top side to try and get there. He's going to have to now return to his jungle once again. Gala's still level 1, by the way. We're 4 minutes into the game and Gala is still level 1. So is Hung. Meiko and JackeyLove are 2 levels up on their lane opponents, but there are so many minions. And with Scout missing from the mid lane, they couldn't find an aggressive angle. Really nice roam there from Scout, because you just know that's an all-in otherwise.
4 minutes in. Hang and Gala were level 1. Tian has sneaked into the top side of the map again. These guys, if you thought the previous series was active, this one is already delivering. WeiWei is also towards the top side of the map. However, he does not have to stay towards the top side. Zika is very safe underneath his tower, does have the flash available to him as well. 369 does not have his summer spell. So Zika instead is going to set up vision into enemy jungle, potentially can catch up Tian on the second clear.
WeiWei gets that ward onto the Raptors there. So Tian didn't do his red buff. He did the Krugs and then looped back, but there was a ward there from Zika. Zika just playing with him. Drops the Q, gets a Comet proc, sends Tian back to the base. So,
hey, they say fool me once. Shame on me. No, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So he just puts the wall down just in case.
So the question is this the new meta now? Is this how LPL is going to be? Just like junglers perma-camping top lane with hard carries on both sides of the rift?
Hey, listen, if it makes the game more proactive, I'm all up for it, man.
It's been pretty fun.
This is the LPL. This is the LPL I was promised when I joined. And when I joined over in spring, everything was a 30-minute snooze fest. We seem to be back.
Yeah.
You've seen the good times of LPL. We seem to be back.
We definitely are right now. Scout is a player who there's been a lot of questions on whether or not he would be back. Had a really rough spring split. It feels like in summer, he started to really show himself once more. It feels like LNG, some of their big wins have been off the back of Scout, really stepping back into the mix. Creme, another player who really has stepped up recently, you know, internationally, looking pretty good. And feels like he's starting to become much more comfortable within this roster. Felt like previously it was top esports with their new mid laner Creme that has to step up. Now it feels like Creme is just one of the number, you know. It feels like the expectation of him is almost as high as the rest of the players on the roster.
It's actually, I would say, a good comparison. It's sort of like cheer to Creme, because you're playing around players who have so much experience. They're absolute legends in the game. You've got double world champion in your team if you're Creme as well, so you have to step up to the occasion. You cannot just be somebody who's getting used to mages because you're really good at assassins. You just have to be good at everything the same way as everyone else is, and Creme has definitely been rising up to the occasion, even though not a rookie, but still compared to all the names that he's surrounded with, still quote-unquote newcomer. Yeah,
slightly more experienced than a
Sorry,
lot of
correction on
newcomers
myself.
into big teams.
Triple world champion, triple. As a double, it's triple.
It is indeed, it is indeed. And one of them, the World's Finals MVP, no less. 369 having a bit of a struggle up in his top side. He's managing to stay even in CS for now. Zika holding the wave away from him and starting to really win out these trades. WeiWei's moving into the top side, the Rune Prison to set up for the Glacial Prison. So many prisons, and 369 is into penitentiary.
Yeah, 369 goes straight into that gray screen prison. Zika very nicely set up for the Sejuani ultimate to land. Huge wave going to crash on the tower as well. Towards the bottom of the map. Level 5 and level 6 to level 4. Just about now, Gala hit level 4. And again, that early game that seemed to be a little bit doom and gloom for JackeyLove and Meiko has actually been... it was a great play from the bot lane of top esports and has netted them a lot of advantages towards the top side of the map. It's constantly pushed. They're constantly 1 to 2 levels up on their counterparts. Scout is just going to check in, but there's smite on Tian. Thank you for the extra damage, I guess.
Worth the shot. You got your ability to just ping back out into the jungle. You might as well try and get the last hit on the dragon. Why not? At least
he had another job on the Rift, so...
So nice stuff from Scout there. He's actually got a 10 CS lead in that mid lane as well, building himself a minor advantage. It's 369 trying to push a wave in on that top side, slightly behind himself. JackeyLove not going to overstep, not going to try and hit the tower for now. It might even mean that a plate goes down, actually. The cannon doing some serious work on the tower, and the plate will fall. Unfortunate for JackeyLove there. Just going to be holding the wave, wasn't necessarily looking for an all-in. Couldn't find the chance to cancel the recall for JackeyLove, and that's the Sheen finished off. JackeyLove and Meiko have been playing pretty aggressive so far this game, and I don't expect that to slow down now that the Sheen's picked up.
Yeah, and Brom plus Ezreal is such an oppressive lane. Brom is really good into a bunch, if not all, melee supports that walk up, instantly getting tagged. And also, Misfortune's Q can very easily get blocked by Unbreakable, which is a lot of that damage that Misfortune has, especially when support and AD carry pile up to try and engage onto someone. So, he gets them a lot of pressure down the bot side of the map. Sheen being completed here as well. A lot of poke will be coming through when it comes to those neutral objectives. Now the question is, does top esports want to rotate their bot lane for those void grubs? Because LNG have already committed onto the rotation. Only now Gala will start heading back towards the bot side.
LNG got those first three. We're up again in 30 seconds. Scout, though, went forward for a trade. And just gets called out by Tian. Fantastic bit of damage coming down onto LNG's mid laner. He doesn't have TP available either. That should just be grubs, surely, for Tian now.
Oh, absolutely. That was a great trade right there from Top Esports. Will not net in Void Grubs yet. There's another 15 seconds, and Scout would have made his way back by that time, but definitely gives them a lot of pressure on the map, because Tian gets to reset first onto the map, gets his Sundered Sky, fully completed item onto the Xin Zhao. Pretty good of a spike of a first item onto Xin Zhao as well, and very much more importantly, Creme gets that reset here, will be able to TP back into his lane to try and potentially go for those Void Grubs over the top side of the map. You see, JackeyLove and Meiko are already moving on the map too.
We could have a 5v5 on our hands here. Creme going to TP back in. That's one grub, 4 for LNG here. Tian moves in to deny the others. I thought Top Esports would be in a better position to just go for it, but wanting to reset. So they'll only get 2 for themselves, but at least deny more than 4. Not going to be the end of the world for them. So all things considered, it feels quite tense in this early game, doesn't it? It feels like it's been quite a slow, nervous start, very aggressive start from JackeyLove and Meiko, and we've had a bit of action in the top lane as well. But aside from that, very cautious. And honestly, for Top Esports and for LNG, what we've seen for the last few months, this really has been the style that they start to lean into. Gala has to flash. Oh, side steps away from the Glacial Fissure as well. But with one more Q and an auto, JackeyLove will find a lane kill.
And it shows you how impressive this duo is, the Ezreal plus the Braum. We've got so many tools to keep chasing, even though I need to comment Gala, he had pretty good happy feet right there. He was dodging the Q from the Braum, he was dodging the ultimate. We're gonna pan onto a ward, the TP is gonna be coming in. And looking at JackeyLove and Meiko, no flashes.
Scout wants to try and make something happen. Cleanse available for JackeyLove. Arcane Shift, cleanses away from a stun, hung underneath the tower here as JackeyLove tries to sidestep everything. The CC is enough in the end, and Scout cuts him to pieces.
And Gala overextends without his support, gets punished. JackeyLove overextends without his support, gets punished. AD carries, stick with your supports, man. It doesn't end well when you don't. That's the moral of the story, I guess, for this particular one. Both Gala and JackeyLove end up going down for the exact same reasons right there. Great TP, though. Great TP to punish. Same thing as WeiWei, being so quick to take that fourth Void Grab as everyone was resetting from Top Esports. Even his own team was resetting at this particular time. So extremely quick on the decision-making from the side of LNG to pull the TPs to go for that play down bot lane. Scout has been extremely active in general on the map. Every single play you'll see him move into that river to try and have access as quickly as possible. And again, this is a resurgence of Scout that we're seeing over in summer and spring. He received quite a bit of criticism for his performance, but right here he seems to be back.
It's looking good so far on the Yone. Some great trades during that laning phase. CS advantage, pressure on the bot lane. I mean, if you remember, JackeyLove and Meiko hit level 3 while Gala and Hung were still level 1, but Scout with an early roam, or at least an early lean towards bot. Set them up to protect his bot lane and to keep JackeyLove and Meiko from snowballing too hard. JackeyLove now 2 deaths on the scoreboard already, but he's getting himself some plating. He's got plenty of kills. He's looking to... Oh, he's got 1 kill. It's maybe not plenty, but he's got a kill.
This might be plenty for JackeyLove, you never know.
It's certainly plenty to start the snowball rolling, right? He's got a 500 gold lead, but it's matched by Zika in the top side, and then there's also a lead for Scout. So LNG doing a good job in this early game, and they're quite happy with a quieter game. We saw one series from them where they played really fast and aggressive. LNG very happy with a slower pace of game. Top Esports showing that against BLG as well.
And now, on the contrary as the last game that we just watched, with pretty much the same composition that AL have, LNG has it here as well. They're an all-in composition. They've got the Ryze instead of the Cannon. However, this time around, Top Esports, every single champion that they own is so good at disengaging. Diving into Cannon, bet. You've got ultimates from Azir and Xin Zhao and Braum, Ezreal, super sleeper in those teamfights as well. So every single one of them has so much agency in terms of getting dived that LNG's task, even though they're pretty even in terms of gold and they're ahead even.
Oh, QE from Zika finishes off the tower. Okay, he's not actually looking for
And
the
he's
one he
out.
wants. He goes for the Realm Warp, gets himself out to safety. You can see JackeyLove and Meiko were moving their way up as well. Herald has spawned onto the map, and now a potential dive under the inhib from the side of LNG. They're going to thread a tier 2 down in the bot side at 15 minutes on the clock. Great play from LNG to punish Top Esports Rogue.
That is 3 towers within 30 seconds, if I'm not wrong. Great stuff from LNG right here, playing the side lanes. Top Esports grouping up a little bit too much, playing for that top side. I feel like they grabbed their referral as well. They committed one too many bodies, expecting LNG potentially to try and contest for it. However, LNG are very dead set on playing the side lanes. And very well, like, Ryze is a side laner. He is a nuisance. You've got Yon as well, who's a fantastic split pusher as well. So you do have the tools if you want to play towards splitting Top Esports apart. Because if you have them as a whole, they do have a lot of engaged potential and CC to lock it down in a straight up 5 versus 5. So getting your advantages through the side lanes, making sure you've got the items, and then you can force the fights.
Overall, just fantastic map play coming out from LNG. And you know, some of the we've said that LNG received criticisms in spring. Some of the criticism has been that they played A, so slow, but B, without doing anything. This game, sure, it is a slow game in terms of kills, but they're still being proactive, right? They're making great macro decisions, they're influencing the map, and they're finding advantages for themselves, instead of just what we saw previously, which was just sort of semi-AFK. Top Esports, though, in the series against BLG, you know, we saw 3 games in that series that were all, you know, Senna, Azir, Ornn coming out from them. It looked great in game number 1. It looked considerably worse for the rest of the series. BLG doing a really good job to put pressure on them. This time, Top Esports changed tack with an Ezreal in the bottom side. They still have that Azir in the mid lane. A little bit more early presence. Need to see perhaps a little bit more early play from them. Herald down in the mid lane now as JackeyLove looks to get a hit onto that tower. Don't know if the Herald will quite finish that one. As Tian dives aboard the Herald, I'm pretty sure to dodge the ultimate from WeiWei there.
Great stuff. JackeyLove sidesteps that as well. And I will 100% agree with you. I feel like it's sort of the same story as when we talked about JDG had to be more proactive. They had to change their playstyle to match up against AL. And it only benefited them, right? They had a fantastic series versus AL. And I feel like it's sort of the same for Top Esports, being stuck on things like the Ornn, the Senna, and the Azir. Yeah, it 100% guarantees you that late game. However, this is an LNG that likes to play a lot more proactively. So if you do just stay inactive during the early game, they're just going to take too much of an advantage for you to come back. And I'm loving the adaptation with the Zinza right here, because Tian has been looking for opportunities all over the map for Top Esports. It's only resulted in 1 kill so far, and this is not the most bloodthirsty early game that we have seen, obviously in the LPL. But a little bit more proactivity with adding the Zinza right there, having the Brom and Ezreal through that bot lane could be exactly what you need for the early pieces of Top Esports start.
Feels like the two teams made a gentleman's agreement before this one. We're going to play this slow, steady. Drake coming up in 20 seconds.
Play for team fights.
Well, this could be an opportunity for a team fight. Top Esports got the first 2 Drakes, with another Drake spawning in 20 seconds time, and a TP into that mid lane. Coming out from Creme, he's just finished off his Leandries. 2 items on that Azir. LNG with control of River for now, and they have so much control when it comes to finding a fight. In terms of when they want to fight, it's all in control of LNG. Nice little sidestep there from Zika. From the Winter's Bite, Top Esports, time to move in. 9k on the Drake. This could well end up in a 50-50. Meiko happy to be the one to walk on forwards. Trying to use that Celestial opposition. Trying to dodge everything so it's not propped too early here. So he can be that tank. Meiko stands and tanks Scout to Zika, looking for a way around. Hung flashes for the engagement. Creep immediately disengages. Meiko blocks the bullet time, and now everybody diving forwards. True shot barrage there, but LNG caught by the slicing maelstrom. It's huge, but it's not huge enough. It's tiny, in fact. Top Esports sent away LNG. Their health bars are just too strong, but JackeyLove goes down in the end. Tian alone, perhaps can find more. Gets one, looks for Gala as well. The red buff working out. Wind becomes lightning, and he finds the triple. A quadra, in fact. Tian is insane.
World champion for a reason bails out Top Esports Esports after a disastrous fight. A fight that looked like they were winning the second 369 dives forward, and he just about tickled LNG. Tian stays alive long enough to make the difference 5-0-1. Surely when he goes back to base, he has a second item. Exactly, Sterex to pair up with his Sundered Sky. Absolute monster he should be on the Rift right now. And LNG, disastrous fight. Oh my, we have to watch this again because it just looked great.
I'm gonna be honest.
Until it didn't.
I have absolutely no idea what happened. That was just so chaotic. It was so much going on simultaneously. And Tian somehow coming out on top of the pile. Everybody so low HP, but Sundered Sky on Xin Zhao turns out really, really good combo, especially with Conqueror in the mix.
Absolutely. Let's see what happens here again. There was an exchange of ultimates. You see that Scout goes in, and then Leona dives forward, and Creme denies the engage. Very lovely ultimate right there. Meiko blocks the entirety of bullet time, and this is it. LNG have no ultimates up for themselves. This is the perfect timing for 369 to dive forward, but Scout with an insane ult grabs 3 and almost decimates top esports. Now, of course, props to JackeyLove. He puts down so much damage before he dies. Let's look at this again. Q only available for him. He's gonna mark the W onto Misfortune E afterwards. Great, great stuff. The Conqueror, the Triumph coming through as well after the kills. Tian coming in clutch for his team.
369 is like spam picking Gala. He's like, this guy, go for that guy. Great win. Win becomes lightning across 2 targets as well to set up the follow-up onto Gala. Beautiful team fighting from Tian. JackeyLove on a knife's edge to turning it into a big play for himself as well. Bullet time going to come on through. Look at that combo. Meiko almost goes down despite the unbreakable. He is still alive in the glacial fissure. Well, actually pull him to safety. WeiWei, the one that has to retreat instead. Scout now on the top side of the fight as well. Creme in a 1v1, but he's out of mana. And Scout finds his mark. LNG now charged down the mid lane, or maybe even look towards Baron.
Top esports overextend right there, instantly getting punished. LNG are taking the fight straight onto top esports. Look on the top side of the map, slowly but surely, Zika has been creeping up a 1.5k lead onto 369's Cannon. That rise is going to be hurting a lot. Again, don't forget the side lane pressure that LNG have to exert on the map. 1.2k onto that Yone, 1.4k onto Zika's rise as well. These two guys can definitely sideline and be a complete nuisance. You don't want to fight into the Xin Zhao? Very well. You've got a 1-3-1 that you can very easily abuse on the Rift to pull top esports apart.
Scout's been having a huge game, hasn't he? Every single fight, I feel like my eyes are gravitating towards wherever Scout is. He's hunting for these flanks. He's trying to find that pressure. Creme being completely out of mana as well. Fantastic window for LNG to find that moment. 8-7 on the scoreboard. And LNG with a minor gold lead, but it's 2 items on either AD carry. It's 2 items on either mid laner. The most significant lead in the entire game, really, I'd argue, is in that jungle. But then Warmog's just been finished off by WeiWei. Maybe the Seeker's arm guard for Zika over the lack thereof for 369. Maybe that's the biggest difference now.
Now here's the thing, Sejuani is absolutely fine being 1.5k down, especially since it's gonna be the engagers, it's gonna be the mid wall in front of her carries, it's going to be the one pulling the trigger together with Heng's Leona. For Tian, it's of absolute pivotal importance that he gets ahead and doesn't stay behind on a bruiser like Zinza that wants to be picking up fights constantly. If you're too squishy, you are in the thick of things, you're in the middle of a team fight. You cannot be squishy and do no damage. This is the absolute peak of Xin Zhao as well on the 2 items. Maybe the third one, which will be more of a tanky item for Tian.
So what you're saying is if we apply game theory, both junglers want Tian to be ahead, because it doesn't matter for WeiWei and it does matter for Tian. So,
there you go. Well, arguably, WeiWei would like to not be behind.
Top esports try to fight for vision control around the river. Drake has spawned, and it will be complete control for top esports on that bottom side of the map. Doesn't look like something LNG want to contest right now. They got that one Drake for themselves in the previous fight, the one that set up Tian for a quadra kill. Maybe that's what scared them off. Tian is in the area, and that's one pointy end on that spear that they don't want to meet again.
Now, I've been saying this quite a lot recently. I feel like what makes a great team is how you call off a play, not how you plan a play. Because surely you can plan a play ahead, but when you have to call it off, it takes a lot of knowledge on the state of the game. And even though LNG are currently 2,000 gold up, they can see, they can tell, they look at their inventories, they know their head in terms of items, in terms of levels on the map. However, if you do not have any setup in the river, if you walk blindly into top esports, they've got more than enough tools to take you down. So props to them. They can wait another maximum 4.5 minutes because that would signify soul for top esports, and LNG would have to fight them right there and then.
JackeyLove trying to force the mid wave further down, so Gala has to go and respond, which means top esports can get this scuttle crab and clear all vision away from LNG. So darkness around the Baron pit. LNG WeiWei and Hung though. Gonna wait a moment and then face check on in. Meiko could be in trouble. Unbreakable comes through. Gala wants to make a move, but JackeyLove's trying to threaten him in the side. A scout now moves over. In the meantime, there's a tier 3 under siege from Zika. He's literally sieging an inhib tower solo, and 369. It doesn't seem like there's anything he can do about it.
You can't really reach up to the wave, right? Ryze has more wave clear than you. He clears the wave faster. He's got 2.5 items. He's got an hourglass, or half an hourglass rather, in his inventory. You cannot necessarily engage onto him or clear the way faster. 369, 2 levels down. Level 16 right now, full hourglass completed onto Zika. And I feel like this is exactly what LNG were looking for when they were calling off that dragon play. They know that they will have the items available to them to fight top esports in 3 minutes when it spawns, or when it's Baron time, or maybe it's now catching Meiko in the river.
Unbreakable has already been used. Gala has bullet time if he wants to use it as well, and there we go. The call made by LNG, great pick, and suddenly Baron wide open to them. It's only the support that's gone down, but I think you're happy to take a 4v5. Never mind the fun, JackeyLove. Everybody dives on top and LNG. Wow, what a way to suddenly find an advantage. 2 picks back-to-back. The bot lane from top esports just removed from the equation.
2 dead, however, Tian is still around. If he wants to dive in and try to steal that Baron, 369 is going down as well.
God, LNG, they're so efficient. The speed at which these players drop. Everybody on the same page. Gorgeous setup for the Baron at top. Esports found wanting.
LNG are so proactive on the map. They see champion, they kill champion. They're playing this slow and steady, but in a way which is so calculated for them. 2 minutes now for the next dragon, and they're gonna have plenty of time to deal with all the waves. They've got Baron, they've got the strongest side lanes, they've got the push, and Meiko is in no man's land. He's got Tian, but too far away. 369 is all the way up the top lane. He's taking all that damage. He's just a support level 10. He cannot tank the entirety of LNG. And then JackeyLove oversteps his welcome, gets engaged on. Oh my god, that was beautiful from Scout, finding the target. Finding Nezreal, you know, he's not very easy in those team fights. He's very slippery. Flash, cleanse, E. But Scout made sure that JackeyLove went straight into that gray screen.
Yeah, I mean, with no vision, I mean, it's pretty much impossible for JackeyLove to see that going. Maybe needs to predict that that play could be an option for Scout, but the projectile so last second over the wall there, gets caught by that knockup, and then that leads to the ultimate, that leads to his demise. 2 and 4 for JackeyLove on his signature pick as well. Does feel a little bit like top esports have been kind of called out by LNG in this game. LNG very much the ones in control and very much the ones are looking like the better team on the day right now. Top esports desperate to hang on. 5,000 gold lead though. 29 minutes and LNG continues to take these towers.
I feel like top esports won a fight off of the back of Tian. The fight looked very, very doomed, and it was Tian that bailed them out. Overall, LNG have looked like the stronger team on the Rift. They've been taking advantage of the side lanes. They haven't necessarily been grouping up for unnecessary fights. They've been letting go of neutral objectives they couldn't control or they had no vision for. And again, it has been very slow and calculated play from LNG to accumulate that 5,000 gold lead. Now that we mentioned that it's time to fight, because top esports would want the soul, now LNG have the perfect setup. They've got more items, They've got vision, they've got Baron, they've got the push, and they can very safely walk into this river. Top Esports are bleeding slowly but surely. It's so difficult for them to actually make a play here because your side lanes are constantly bleeding. Yone is stronger than any of your solo laners, and Ryze is stronger than any of your solo laners at this point.
Nice try from JackeyLove to steal away the soul there. Tian on the top side. That's 2 ultimates. Use Solar Flare. Try and capture Tian, but that's going to force his flash out. And suddenly, there's not a lot left in the tank for Top Esports. They've already used Meiko's ult, they've already used Tian's ult. They're just playing defensively at this point, and LNG very happy to just steal away this entire jungle. They'll continue to slowly build this lead for themselves. This is textbook LNG. And you know, LNG have been a top team for a lot of years at this point, and this is typically the style that we've seen from different iterations of the roster. And then we had this massive lull from LNG as an organization this year. It feels like that lull very much gone. They are back to form. They are back to complete map control. Top Esports really tested here in Game 1.
From a game that started very promising from Top Esports, to reiterate, Top Esports bot lane was level 4 when LNG's bot lane was still level 1. That was a huge gap. Unfortunately, they were not able to snowball that control from the bot side. Again, I feel like LNG's draft this time around is so well curated in terms of we've got team fighting ability, but we also have split push ability. And I feel like this is what has been hurting Top Esports the entirety of this game. The fact that every time they would pull the trigger for a play, whether it was top, bot lane, or mid, then they would lose instantly on side lanes. And they have to go back a little bit to the drawing board and possibly draft towards stronger lanes so they can snowball their early advantages easier into that mid to late game. LNG has shut them down completely.
Yeah, this Ryze pick from Zika as well. Fantastic to see that it's managed to work out for him. It's not often you see a Ryze top lane in the game. Tian, the one that has to make these face checks happen for his squad. Baron should be coming up in the next couple of minutes, I think. Lost my overlay, so I'm not entirely sure. Turns out I'm really reliant on that counter on my screen. Top Esports will be able to muscle their way into mid lane and try and get some control. So 3,000 gold Baron power play for LNG. And I mean, they are very far ahead, but we are getting towards that 3-item mark across the board. I'm looking towards 369. When he finishes that death cap, that is the moment where maybe things can turn around. One big slicing maelstrom really can change the game.
However, I'm looking at hang summoner spells, and I do see an exhaust in there,
True.
Munch, which they haven't needed to use yet. And now,
Oh no. Force the
369
flash spell. His
core. Oh,
flash
that's
is on cooldown.
huge.
That's a disaster.
Oh, that is huge. Yeah, especially when Baron is coming up, you were expecting that 369 would throw his body in to try and get biggest ultimate that he can to potentially turn this one around. However, without flash, the threat is so minimal. I feel like Top Esports, their only chance right here for potentially winning a fight or upsetting a Baron would be to try and catch someone off guard on the side lane. Looking at Yone, the pings are going down onto Scout. They won't be able to catch him that easily. Level 18 Yone versus level 16 Kennen? Not the easiest one to take.
Certainly not. I love that use of the Fate Seal from Scout. Using it just to get over a wall to be a part of a potential pick onto 369. If WeiWei's ultimate had landed onto 369, really could have been an angle for Scout to follow up on. And it's not that long to go down. I mean, it's back up at this point. Baron up on the map. Drake up in 1 minute. Would be solved for Top Esports, and it does feel like Top Esports doing a good job to at least vie for some control of the map. They haven't completely conceded control of everything. Death cap has been finished for 369, so in a fight, we've got to keep our eyes on that rat.
Every single member from the side of Top Esports has completed 3 items. They could catch them in this choke point, would be huge. I think it's very clever for Top Esports to sort of threaten the Baron.
Oh, the solar flare on multiple players. Scout dives onto the backline. JackeyLove flashes away, but he's flashed away from his team, who are all in tatters. Creme tries to disengage, and he will save Meiko's life. 2 for 0 in favor of LNG.
There's a few Poke spells coming out from JackeyLove. It is Tian and Meiko by his side. WeiWei's about to be by his side as well as Hang, who are looking for flanks.
Tian forced a flash as well. It's as easy as that for WeiWei. And that'll be Drake secured by LNG. Nicely done. Great little flank on the end of the play as well. I think Hung and WeiWei both getting big value out of their Warmogs, being a part of the fight, backing away for a second, and then re-engaging once more.
Yeah, if you don't have a lot of your engage tools, it's really hard to sort of keep up with top esports. Again, Braum, Ezreal, very slippery. Tian had his flash right there, had to use it to get out into safety. Tian is around, and there is the blast cone available.
Both solo lanes top esports have TP available, so this becomes extremely dicey for LNG. If Creme and 369 join the play, that's a TP behind enemy lines. It's too early from Hung. The solar flare doesn't find the stun. In goes Scout. 369 has slicing Maelstrom, and he'll lock the Yone up, but there's no damage there to follow it up, and JackeyLove fell instead. Top esports try and make a hero play. I think they realized their days were numbered. And LNG, they're the ones holding the calendar. They charged down mid lane, and that might just be game.
Yeah, that was the last chance from top esports to make any play onto the map. Zika is also going to flank Meiko, not allowing him to hold the wave right there. 369 pushed out the play too. They're gonna at least take that inhibitor. 25 seconds on both Tian and JackeyLove. LNG do not necessarily have a beefy wave. There's another one coming. 369 was playing.
WeiWei was stopping the recall coming out from 369, which means Meiko goes down in a 1v3. Tower's not quite enough. There are minions underneath the bot lane tower. Maybe they could go for a second inhib instead. 369 moves up as 5 seconds until Tien's back up. LNG wants to try and finish this one. Scout flashes for the play and finds 369. Gorgeous game on the Yone. LNG will find the win. Tien tries to defend, but there is nothing left to be done for top esports. They have been called out by LNG. Creme, he's managed to find 4 of them, but he's also found his demise. Beautiful stuff from LNG.
Absolutely decisive early game decision making by LNG. Have to commend them on making plays based on the pure information that they have on the map from top esports. Every single time top esports